It takes a lot to make a stew, a pinch of salt and... Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and it's high time I made another video theory. Not theory video, video theory, as in a theory on an internet video. It's been so long, I thought why not go frame by frame on a good old classic Too Many Cooks by Adult Swim. Watch it if you haven't yet, it's quite an interesting, strange, creepy video that parodies sitcom intros. Seen it good. I'm gonna watch through it now with a magnifying glass, sort of like what I did with the Cat in the Hat movie. Also similarly to that video, I'm a bit delirious at the moment for a variety of health reasons, so this could get a few different levels of interesting in a hurry, as in unfettered stream of consciousness. Hopefully, though, we'll still manage to distill both its messages and its lore. So we start with Ken de Lozier, the lead of the show. He seems to be an architect of some denomination. His work has been ruined, presumably by his children, in an act of defiant love. Oh, these miscreants, he thinks to himself. His wife, Tara Oakes, burns her cookies. This seems to be a typical late 20th century American family. Creepy elf here, Smarf there. This, I presume, is their teenage daughter, Karen Nakin. Younger son, Justin Scott, the weightlifter. Younger daughter, the intellectual Morgan Burke. Oh my... do you see it? How the hell? I never noticed that before. Genuinely, I thought he just started showing up midway through the video, but look, he's right there. He's right there. Oh yeah, there's definitely more here to look through. This book says book, magazine, the magazine has itself on itself. Reading it, though, is one of the adult's mothers, Linda Miller, and she's with the youngest of the household, co-star twins Layla and Lila Neal. I presume this to be the husband's older daughter from a previous marriage, if trope convention probabilities are to be weighed. The strange part, though, is that this Kate Geralt is posing for the camera in Morgan Burke's room. Also funny is that we get an ensemble shot wherein Justin has won a trophy, though I presume the baby is sleeping and the stepsister is out partying. That, or they've just phased into non-existence after their purpose was served. In Additionally Edition, now he's on the stairs. Then they're painting, and Miss Intellectual gets her smug comeuppance. Caitlin has her birthday party, and Ken is off to work, but another baby named Truman Orr, portraying Taylor Cook, has robbed him of his keys. I presume one baby to be Kate's child? I mean, there are too many cooks here to logically interconnect. It also seems as though the backgrounds are shifting mildly. Couch, couch, kiss, kiss, one more pic. Clearly the babies and Kate have been ostracized from this photograph, so my take thus far is that Ken is patient zero of the virus they mentioned later on in the video, and he's slowly but surely unintentionally infecting people and compelling them into location zero, his home, the nest. With that in mind, let's get logical. Jayla James here, in what looks like a completely new area. Sporty girl, the foil to Justin of the other family, but then we see Morgan's foil, a smart young boy, on the cook's couch? I find it interesting that Cameron here is a chemist and Morgan had a chemistry book. There's these weird parallels, but things are breaking down very quickly, so it's going to be hard to follow. Zach Shires here is a bully who may be a slightly older child of this second household in the same household, but I find it odd that the children were introduced first, before the adults. We see this Gwydion guy come through the front door, implying him to be a neighbor. Well, not anymore. He's been claimed by the Cook virus. Oh look, Ginny Gibbons, who looks similar to the Truman Orr character. You see, this is just the thing. These are all, as I believe the fandoms say, gender-bent characters. It's a spin-off. Just after the first photograph, we're now introduced to this almost spin-off, Too Many Cooks. And oh shit, I didn't see this one either! Any more stalks in here, and I assume we'd find a giant at the top. Oh look, more twins, Dylan and Logan. I also see this is a bit of a sporty family, but so I would always assume. And before things come together here, someone Please do a consistency examination on the character introductions and run a pattern check through their names and appearances. There could be a cipher or something, knowing Adult Swim. Things are moving quickly now. There's another old woman, Barbara, but she's also reading the pages to turn articles with words, glossy paper, Inception magazine. Next we meet the second wife, Mary, and then here he is. Here we go. Smarf. Next up, we get a previously unseen kitchen containing chefs Ricky, VC, Nilsa, and Gregory all pouring into the same bowl, and Mr. Sneaky Sneak is stealing the spice. Next, we have Will and Victoria, and it's becoming abundantly clear that these are not members of the initial family. This whole thing is a thought experiment on how things spread. Mimetic, like a virus. And the mystery man is our representation of it. He gets more powerful as more are infected. You know, it's amazing just how much clearer things become if you just slow it down. See, now it's traveling to the workplace. I would prefer it if we could peg the identities of each person, because I do find it odd that they have different last names. Perhaps Smarf is an antidote to viral memes. Again, we later see this is a virus as well. But this whole thing is also very clearly a parody on the oversaturation of television, so metaphors be gone. The boss doesn't seem to get infected with this intranitis, but Mark certainly does, and we see Mr. Mystery sneak here too. Each time things are taken up a notch, there he is, and there he goes, as the song says, Steve from Corporate 2, Charles Pittard himself. And sorry for memeing there, but what do you expect? This is a case study on viral memetics. Get over me, you painful hypothetical critic. And there goes nosy old Karen. Mr. Intranitis do be causing mischief in the office still. At this point, I'm dissolving attempts at relationship integration entirely. Mark and Mary engage in an arranged marriage, presumably by the embodiment of the virus who is hive-minding everyone. Like a mind flayer. As these characters attempt and fail to cohabit in unison, things go awry. You think upon first viewing that this R-rated Pictionary is just another sort of absurdist Adult Swim joke, but in actuality, her mind has also been stripped away, as it were, and because of the virus, this is all she is now, a mindless husk upon the bidding of Mr. Mystery. Their clothes are also the same now. Smarf tries his antidote love, but fails, obviously. Mr. Mystery in the photo again, and on to the next segment as the pots are heating up. Repeat, I repeat, it's a repeat. Tara Oakes. She has recontracted the virus. My only explanation is that she was the one Smarf healed and that she was reinfected. But Justin too and old Granny Linda, and they thought I wouldn't notice? And Caitlin and... Can you see what's happening here? It's quite clear. It's another family of 3 that's been infected. Michael, Chris, and Tina. It's very clearly obvious. And maybe Cynthia and maybe Sheila. And this virus is essentially sweeping people from their position at the table and making room for more cooks. Like the second the camera pans away, by the laws of physics they must be ripped away from their position at like a hypersonic velocity. We've got fireman Clayton and policewoman Allie. You can see a bit of a pattern, can't you? Or is it just me, the delirious one? Am I the only one who can see this pattern? Emergency services come out to the rescue and, well, damn it, they get assimilated. And it's here that we cut to more of that. It's spanning cities now, see? Who's this guy? We drag in another cop? Ed Kirkado. I assume this to somehow be a flashback or a backwards sort of reinfection. I mean, here we see Allie the policewoman again, with Mr. Mystery in the back, but her shirt just reads PD, which is completely nondescript and highly consistent with the identity erasure Intranitis. They even give their sickening sickness to Josh the criminal, but hey, if Intranitis has assimilated emergency services, then what can't it do? James White seems to be the lead detective on where all of these missing people have gone. I can only assume. I don't think it's entirely a coincidence that Josh here looks a little like our mystery murderer. These theories I keep firing off just keep coming to me naturally. It's like watching this frame by frame tells a much fuller, more complete story. Look at how pissed he is that they got the wrong suspect. But hey, only those suffering can actually see Mr. Mystery, I bet. And wham, now he's been gotten. I think this guy might know something. He's staring straight at me. So anyways, Eugene Jackson, a cop who probably got a major lead on this investigation, gets himself infected right at the worst possible moment. It's a conspiracy meme, you see. The more you learn, the more you assimilate. You can see the parallel to reality and how too many cooks in the kitchen can wane the number and/or value of their roles. This Matthew guy plays a coat, and someone is literally transmutated into Detective Pie. This killer definitely does see these victims as Jiusei, and here's where things get paranormal and anomalous. So, either this virus has the ability to assimilate concepts and ideas too, like fictional characters, or it's transmutating people into the second dimension. It's a self-parodying meme either way. This is almost like the ever-evolving state of a fever dream. We have Shane Coleman, Paul Painter, in a sort of superhero army show where they are able to physically battle against Mr. Mystery, whose power and presence is growing. Now they really start to hammer home this repetition as well, and as we transition out of animation, so too does the powerful presence of Mr. Mystery, who's assimilating people real explicitly, as we get a taste of what it's like from their perspective. He comes at sophisticate Candace Mabry with a freaking machete, as well as Ben Peck, who also appears to be on this political drama variant of the show Too Many Cooks. Our first major kill goes to Dan Treflo, who gets knifed during tennis, and we see a sort of dorm building, I think. There's a slumber party, but then wham, the classic theme returns and brings desolation with it. Oh, hell no. They rebooted Too Many Cooks. You see what's happening here, right? You see this? Oh, the horror. They've reinvigorated the meme. The network has brought nothing but their own doom. This seems to be a production facility, and they've legitimized the reality of the meme and brought it through the fourth wall. Mr. Mystery has ascended, and we have descended to take his place. Elena is torn away from an exit door, Amy is drowned in a sink, and Katie in the dorm is given a brief chance to evade infection and escapes the meme as he gets too close. The future, the 2010s, embraces reboots. Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe we shouldn't. This is borderline Twin Peaks philosophy. As Mr. Corporate Intronitis Infection dashes after Katie in the back rooms, his theme music follows him. They pass a few familiar faces and a few new ones. The familiar ones seem to be frozen in time, just like the past always is. She runs through the Adult Swim set and he gets her. Now in comes the comic book films, bringing superheroes with them, which happens over and over and over and over again, which might be an attempt at, I guess, passing judgment on the MCU. Oh, hold on. There she is! The older stepsister was a hero this whole time, and so was the creeper Will Dove. His identity was shredded down the middle mid-transformation. Again, I'm really seriously out of it, but I also really wanted to make this video, and you're just gonna have to sort of follow my stream of consciousness as I'm speaking here. You're probably half listening, but then you hear me say something that sort of clicks, and you realize I know exactly what the hell I'm talking about, but I'm having trouble conveying it at this time. I told you it was like the Cat in the Hat video, but I can only assume. I'll know fully once this video is uploaded, of course. At this point, I can't even tell if Mr. Mystery is necessarily for or against the parodies of Too Many Cooks. He's clearly infectious, but here he is killing off yet another detective parody, Derek Huffmaster. Back to Location Zero, though, which has descended into the 9th circle of hell. Too Many Cooks has taken over the world and blood pours from the sink. It's a mess, and the show is trying to copy itself. Mr. Mystery can't do this, as he is all characters, but simultaneously none. He consumes the cast, so maybe he's a consumer of the show. It would work both ways. Smarf tries nuking him with laser eyes, but he is blown up and revealed to be robotic, perpetuating the show once again, in another new format. If we can get a truly solid, consistent answer to what Smarf and the Mystery Man represent, then we can solve not just the metaphor, but the literal actual plot of this world. And it's not that hard to do, actually. We then get a space drama parody in which the show itself proclaims the Mystery Man as the spoiled broth from the theme song, aka Beast Rebels of the Hellscape. And here we see the role which hadn't even been fulfilled when we saw him backstage. It's the robot. As Mr. Broth sends out his troops like virus cells, we see the aliens observing Earth, which itself has been studying Intronitis. And yes, they have him. Patient Zero himself, Ken, life being drained away. The Doctor gets the virus too, advancing it yet again, and the show and the song changes yet again. So now comes the integral moment of Too Many Cooks. Here I can provide my theory on the thesis of this video because we get the moment. You see, we now observe that the people who have intronitis have become one with the show. Roles being utterly interchangeable, it's just become one massive hellscape where once again the message is clear. This is an utterly massive metaphor about how big actor names are more important than the actual characters and their development. It's backwards and wrong. Presumably to bring back the beauty and creativity, Smarf, majorly wounded, tries hitting a reset button, which God only knows is a metaphor for what. And with the world assimilated into one massive grid of faces and actors, Hollywood hell prevails with Mr. Mystery getting his infinite reboots. And when the show actually airs, it says it all. There's no content. It's all about the actor names. It's all about the cast. There's no writing. No creativity, there's nothing there. We do get to see all of the character names in the credits though, that could help my family tree. Oh no. Oh no. They're basically all just cooks, except not William Tokarski. He plays the killer, and it's just his real name. He's without identity, just like the regurgitation of content he represents and the facelessness of network television. With the analysis all said and done, now the last thing on my mind is why the video is 11:11 long. It's all about television reboots, how names are bigger than roles, and how this is all like a virus. It keeps happening, and creativity is dead. This is borderline only solvable by tangential thinking because the concept is ever evolving. The details are irrelevant, and magazines are just magazines. There's no effort in the show. You can't get the big picture until it's too late, and the broth is spoiled. Too many cooks will spoil the broth, but the masses won't care, because it will fill our hearts with so much love. So it's likely that Smarf's initial intent has been warped and twisted to an unnatural extent by the masses. It's an interpretation everyone knows deep down when watching this. It's so freaking similar to Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, and it's disturbing because it's a truth, or at least insofar as the beliefs of those who made this are concerned. In universe, it's as I explained, a virus that drags in those nearby and hive minds them. Emergency services, medical professionals, everyone, and Mr. Mystery is the personification. It's a meme, a sinfully diabolical meme, an unholy stilted contortion of something sacred and innocent, a desanctification of creativity itself. Well, I hope you enjoyed this theory. Maybe I'll come back to this once I've returned to my final form. Goodbye.